It's your good sis Erica Bain back again with a new series alert. This video I am talking about the Amazon Prime series Harlem, and if y'all aren't watching this, spoiler alert, you need to watch it. This is going to be spoilers in this. So come back to it after you have watched it. I've told you now. You should be able to trust me by now. You just seen, I got over hundreds and hundreds of videos of the best television that's happening right now, giving you the breakdowns. You should be able to trust me by now and know that I am making a bomb suggestion for you. So stop right here if you haven't watched it and go and watch the series and then come back because we got a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into it. Harlem is a Amazon Prime dramedy series about 4 black women living, learning, loving in Harlem, New York, and it is starring Meagan Good, Jerrie Johnson, Grace Byers, and Shoniqua Shandai. When I tell y'all that these women were so perfectly casted for the characters that they play, Meagan Good plays Camille, an anthology professor, adjunct professor at Columbia, who is out of a relationship with one of the other main characters, Ian, played by Lepley, and trying to really ascend the ranks and get to be a full-time professor, a tenured professor, but also trying to figure out what's what within her life, right? Like, she has this idea for her career and what she wants to attain within her career, but her love life is in shambles, and part of it is from her most recent relationship that ended with Ian. And in this episode, we don't get any information in reference to how it ended, why it ended. All we know is that it ended. And sis, Lepley, Ian, my God, he is fine. Like, why did it end, girl? Why did it end? You let that go? Camille, you let that go, girl. Well, we're going to talk about it. Jerrie Johnson plays Ty, who is a tech entrepreneur. She founded a queer dating app called Q, and it is on the rise. In this first episode, we actually get to see her taking meetings with potential investors who try to lowball her as if she don't know her work and she don't know what she brings to the table and she don't know what her company is. And she, not even politely, she gathers him professionally and lets him know that he can take that $750,000 right on out the damn door because, sir, what you think this is? She's already playing at the big boy table. She's playing at the big girl table and it's her table. And you know what? You have just now been disinvited, so grab your things and get on up and go, okay? All right. Ty, to me, is one of the characters that I gravitate to very, very quickly because while she's bossing up in the tech industry and she's the founder of this tech company, she also is like no hose bar when it comes to her personal life, and she's not really struggling in love. She is, tiptoeing around her type, which the girls call out in this episode as being little flighty, random women who really don't have much going on at this point in their lives, and they feel like that she does this because she likes to be the boss in the boardroom as well as the bedroom. So in this episode, she starts to think more about like who she's dating, why she's dating them. We get to see some of the people that she was dating before. It's like, yeah, girl, these little airheads, I don't know what you're talking, like what's going on. They can't even order wine with you. This girl asked for a straw for a wine bottle, but okay. And she actually pursues going on a date with another boss, and that doesn't necessarily go right as well. So while she's not struggling as much as Camille, she's definitely out here. She's getting dates. She is kind of like, playing the field and getting a couple of misses. She hasn't yet found love either. But it's also not clear in this first episode if Ty is actually looking for love or if she is fine with just looking for a good time. Quinn, played by Grace Byers. Oh my gosh, it is so good to see Grace in this role because after seeing her as Boo Boo Kitty on Empire and how treacherous she was and conniving and all that, and then now Quinn is completely the opposite. Quinn is this trust fund baby who is really trying to figure out where she stands in the world. She's trying to get her fashion line to really pop off and become popular and make a bunch of money, but she also has tied her fashion line to a charitable organization, and she's giving away meals with every dress or garment that is purchased. And they just kind of hint to the fact that she's a trust fund girl because her and Angie have quite a few conversations in this episode about how she is living off her parents, or she's backed by her parents, so she's able to do certain things. We don't get a full scope of all of what's going on with her, except for she's trying to make this fashion line pop, and she's very much so unlucky in love. So while Camille is struggling with her love life, it's because she's just not dating and she hasn't gotten back out there. Quinn is struggling and she's out there. Quinn is basically drowning because in this first episode she goes all the way to Long Island, which no shade. I ain't going arrogant cold shame people because I live in LA and people love to do that all the time. They think they hear whatever neighborhood you live in and then they judge you by wherever neighborhood you live in. I'm not going to judge anybody who's lived in Long Island, but this little raggedy man was trifling. He invited her on the first date to a club, a loud ass club, and then while she was trying to get to know him, he's making eyes with this little random hooch that's behind her. Then either steals her purse and her wallet or let somebody else do it because he leaves with said girl while she goes to the bathroom after somebody spilled some drink on her. And it's just like, sir, you're ghetto. You're supposed to be a lawyer, but you're giving really, really ghetto. And the fact that you did this to a woman is just like, this is out here really happening. So when women are out here talking about it's hard out here being single, this is what we mean. Because y'all are tripping. Some of these men are really tripping. But Quinn is completely unlucky in love, and you can see just by the tone of like seeing her fumble around with this date, as well as seeing the argument that her and Angie get into prior to this date. But then also we get a foreshadowing moment earlier on in the episode, because when these girls go out to have like lunch or whatever, she's like, oh, I have a date, y'all, and nobody wants to hear about the date. So that really lets us know, like, okay, she does this a lot, she doesn't keep guys, and it's always some kind of craziness with it. And then once we actually see the craziness that has her staying on Long Island until the next morning when Angie can come and get her from off of this place, because she has no wallet, has no money, has no purse, because the lovely suitor just kind of let that disappear. We see like, okay, this is what's going on with Quinn. This is what she's giving. And honestly, Grace Byers plays this character down. She is literally Quinn to a T. And I believe it. Like, while I feel bad for her, while I'm just like, oh, Quinn, girl, you got to get it together, I definitely believe the performances. So I definitely think that she knocked it out of the park. It's so interesting to see. I think that she's great in reference to being a person within this friend group, because Ty has money because she created something and has earned it and has now shifted into a better place in her life. Quinn has money because her parents have money, and that creates a very interesting perspective even amongst her friends of like how they view her and how they see life for her. So you would think that her life isn't as hard because she doesn't want for anything, but she wants for a lot of the intangibles, and you can see that from the very first episode, and I thought that was brilliant. Now, Shoniqua's character, Angie, I don't like her. I love Shoniqua. I love her portrayal of Angie. I think that she is a brilliant actress and she's playing Angie down. But Angie is a character, I can't get with her. She is entitled. She is like living with Quinn and has been living with Quinn for years now, completely rent free. She has no job, is not really looking to get a job, and is being very bougie about the jobs that she actually is going to take or is going to audition for or is going to interview for. And I'm just like, so you just okay with mooching off of this girl? And not only is she okay with it, but she continuously takes certain liberties. And actually, Quinn and Angie get into an argument about that in this episode. And Angie throws a bunch of stuff at Quinn about how she's a trust fund person and she don't have to worry about nothing. And Quinn comes right back with like, yeah, you don't have to worry about anything either, because all of your issues fall on me. All of your bills fall on me. You live in my house. I take care of everything. She gets this girl food. Like, she literally does a lot for her. And it's like, Quinn ain't your mama, Angie. Like, Quinn is your friend. She is here to support you. But you, to me, Angie gives ungrateful almost immediately. And that's something that I just can't jive with. I cannot jive with the friend who not is in need, because I have no problem with friends who are in need and we're here to support each other. But now you have taken your need and turned it into your entitlement, and you think that I have to give you a roof over your head. You think that I have to give you food. You think that I have to give you money. And that's not how this works, sis. You are not my damn mama. You are not my damn child. I'm gonna need you to adjust your attitude and act accordingly. When she burst into the apartment and she was rapping and all that, and Quinn was actually on a work call, I'm just like, you could be comfortable with your friend, but damn, you know that she works from home. You can see that this is her whole office. She got designs and all this kind of stuff. You really bust in like nothing was even happening, not even really even being thoughtful, like, I wonder if Quinn is even in here, right? So it's little things like that about Angie that I really, really struggle with, and I continue to struggle with throughout the series. But she is the singer, the struggling singer who wants to make it, but it's not necessarily struggling in love because she's not looking for a relationship. She's looking for a good time and a hard you know what. And I ain't mad at her about that. I love how outspoken that she can be. My only real issue that is really making me not like her as a character is that she's just very entitled to her friend's money and her friend's life, and I don't appreciate that for her. Yeah. But in this episode, y'all, I thought it was the perfect pilot because it really introduced us to all of these characters. We get to know who these women are. Pretty much immediately, you get to gravitate towards the ones that relate to you most. Like, I really gravitated towards Ty, and I really gravitated towards Camille. Camille starts the episode off, and because she's an anthology professor, a lot of the episodes are shaped around her lessons. And in this lesson, she's speaking about a tribe of women in an Asian country that, you know, seize their power and navigate life like doing what they want to do and not necessarily thinking about the opinions or the wants of a man, but really moving with what they want to do and only what they want to do. And that becomes a thing that kind of like frames the episode. Camille actually uses that in reference to doubling back and sleeping with or engaging with one of her students who's really into her, who drops the dang on class just so that he can get with her. And she does this with the mind of like, oh yeah, I'm just channeling my inner power and my feminine energy and all of that. And it's just like, girl, the lesson made a whole bunch of sense, but you need to go ahead and pull up because you ain't had a man since Ian. And then Ian pops up. She runs into Ian multiple times in this episode and she avoids him. The first time is on the streets of Harlem on her block because apparently his mom lives in the same area that she lives in, and he was on her block on a phone call before he was headed to his mom's house. She ducks him out there. Then she runs into him at the open mic night, but we don't necessarily know what happens because the episode cuts right when she's about to place her arm on his shoulder. And again, I think that this episode was just so great in reference to introducing us to all of the girls, giving us a good idea of where we are in their lives, and then you also get to know immediately like who they are and what's wrong and how do they plan to go about fixing it. Angie wants to be a singer, but is also not disciplined. Also a little bit, I think she could also be depressed and deflecting. Like she's just using her outspokenness and her sexuality to deflect from the fact that she feels like she's not going to make it within her craft and her career. And she ain't going to do nothing about it for right now. She's going to hope that she just falls into an opportunity, because in the first episode, we don't see her actually tangibly doing anything aside from taking this open mic night that she hopes can kind of like get her the jump start that she might need. Quinn, she actually is still dating and trying to go out and do things. We have this mishap happen on Long Island, but she's not deterred by that. She's able to receive some of the feedback that Angie gave her and utilize that. They strengthen their friendship when they actually make up in this episode. And you can see that from this episode on, she's just going to continue to forge forward within her career, but then also forge forward within her dating life, but also just be a little bit smarter when she does that. Camille, I think when we are ending off the episode and seeing her about to touch Ian's arms or touch Ian's shoulder, that is saying that she is going to spring forward and make a decision in reference to her love life. She's already made decisions in reference to professionally. She's trying to get full tenure professor at Columbia. She's even got an offer from Kansas University that's on the table. So we're going to see some movement in that regard for her career, but she's going to take her personal life into her own hands and take action moving forward. And then Ty, we see her actually try to change her type. While Sharon was not it either, and Sharon was giving her the boss energy that she probably was giving all these little lowly women, she realizes like, okay, so I don't have to go that far down the spectrum in reference to dating another boss, but I also don't have to go back to my comfort zone in reference to my type. So I think that we're going to see Ty try out a bunch of other women. All right, y'all, that is my full breakdown of episode 1 of Harlem. Again, I absolutely love the series. At this point, I rewatched the pilot 3 times, and I'm probably going to rewatch it again. I think I want to do a whole rewatch with my girls and like let's get together, Kiki, watch this, because there's so much actually happening. I think each of the women are so diverse that so many different women can identify with the girls of Harlem. And even like you can identify with different bits and pieces of each of the girls. Like they really did a great job of creating characters that were unique and fun and nuanced and complex. Like you are really going to enjoy Harlem. If you haven't watched it already, please go and check it out. I hope I didn't spoil it too much with this episode breakdown, but there's still so much more that you can see. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and turn on your bell notifications because I will be breaking down all 10 episodes of Harlem, and you don't want to miss when I upload my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!